Hey you guys, what's up? Raylo here from KidneyPuncher.com, here to bring you another review. Today, we're going to be talking about the Aspire Nautilus X, a little something old, but in a completely new package. But first, let's go ahead and dive down up close, take this thing out of its box, and show you all the goods. Alright you guys, so here we are in up close mode with the Aspire Nautilus X. Here's the box that it comes in, nice little hard plastic clamshell box. Let's go ahead and open this up and show you what comes inside. So of course, first things first, you have your tank sitting right here in the front. Let's go ahead and pull that out and see what else we get. So pull this back. You see, you get a nice piece of extra glass for your tank. And you also get an extra coil head. Now here's the new coil head that comes with the Aspire Nautilus X. These are 1.5 ohm coil heads and they're rated from 14 to 22 watts. One thing to note is make sure that you have both O-rings on your coil heads when using them. Otherwise you're going to have issues with leaking. Here's the bottom of said coil head. You can see the insulated ring right here around the bottom. And then of course up here at the top you have something that looks a little bit different. This is the U-coil or U-wick design that they have for these heads. So basically the way this works is your airflow actually comes in through this side hole, goes down, and then back up your other coil, and then out here into your drip tip. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about the tank itself. Of course, we'll start from the top and work our way down to the bottom. So at the top here, you could see a Delrin drip tip. This is proprietary to this device and measured out to 6.5 millimeters inner diameter, which actually is right around the same as a cigarette. And this drip tip is held on by this nice wide O-ring. And if you take a look on the inside, you can see that it's not a completely wide open drip tip hole. It's actually a 3.5 millimeter hole going down into your coil head. Then if you look closely here at the top, you could see one hole here, and there's another one on this side. This is your airflow control, and these measure out when completely wide open to 3 by 1 millimeter. And of course, it can be adjusted with this ring right here at the top. You just grab it and twist it to close and open to adjust your airflow to how you like it. Now to fill up this tank, it's as easy as grabbing the top, unscrewing it, and then you just fill right up. Because the way that these coil heads are designed, you don't have to worry about any other type of top fill feature. Then to take the glass off, all you have to do is just twist it right off, and it comes right off your device. Tank is held on by this big giant O-ring right here at the bottom. Now let's go ahead and unscrew our coil head. Coil head comes out very easy, and the threading on this device is actually pretty flawless. And then right there in the center, you could see that is your 510 pin that makes connection to the bottom of your coil head. Then if you take a look here at the bottom, you can see it says Nautilus X and then designed and manufactured by EI Gate. And if you take a look, you can see it does not stick out very far. It is adjustable, but it's not going to come stick out. This is about as far as you're going to get it. And again, on a 1.5 ohm head, I wouldn't necessarily suggest using this on a hybrid device, since you're really supposed to be using it within that 14 to 20 watt range. Let's go ahead and put this all back together and fill it up. Go back into FaceTime. We'll talk about it, vape on it. All right, you guys, so we're back from up close mode with the Aspire Nautilus X. Let's go ahead and take a vape on this real quick and show you how it performs. So that is fully wide open where you get a very restricted lung hit. Let me go ahead and tighten this down to a nice mouth to lung style draw and show you how it performs in that way. So of course you get way less vapor production, but that's how mouth to lung hits always are. So let's go ahead and jump right into the specs. So first things first, this is 22 millimeters in diameter, and from the base here to the top of the drip tip measured out to 40.5 millimeters tall. It does have top airflow with two 3 by 1 millimeter airflow slots. The drip tip, which measured out to 6.5 millimeters inner diameter with an air hole in the base of the drip tip that measured out to 3.5 millimeters. This comes with an extremely easy top fill. It holds 2 mils of juice, It has the new UTech coil system installed in the coil heads that come with it. And last but not least, this is fairly leak proof. I personally have not been able to make this leak, and trust me, I tried. So that's it for the specs. Let's go ahead and talk about the pros and the cons. First, we'll start with some pros. So first and foremost, this is a very, very tiny little tank. So it's easily used in stealth mode, or if you don't want something big and bulky, this is definitely something that you're gonna enjoy. So I give that a pro. The drip tip, while some might find it a con, I actually kind of think it's a unique design. It's nice that they made this so that way it resembles the same diameter as a typical cigarette would have. So that way it's going to make it easier for someone who's trying to get into vaping to stop smoking. It's extremely easy to fill and use and to install your coils. Everything about this is really simple. So that's definitely a pro in my opinion. And of course, the last pro is I actually get pretty decent vapor production off of this, considering that it's a 1.5 that I'm using at 20 watts. So I definitely give that a pro as well. So that's it for the pros. Let's go ahead and talk about some of the cons. So the first con I really wanted to point out is, while yes, this does have airflow control at the top, it is a little bit difficult to grab and twist this. Like my hands right now, they have a little bit of juice on them, and it's very difficult to get this to turn because there's no grip there. So they have grip right here around the top base, but where this little lip is where you have to spin to try and adjust your airflow control, I would have liked to see maybe a little bit of knurling there to give it some grip. And then the only other con that I had on this was it's technically not necessarily the best for flavor. While it's not lacking flavor, I did notice that I'm getting different notes off of juice that I'm very familiar with. So I have one juice that I'm using that has a mint tobacco, which is the Bee Juice by p.busardo. Well, on all my other devices, I pick up strong menthol notes, and I do get the tobacco on the back end. When using it in this device, I get more of the mintiness. I don't get the strong menthol hit, and the tobacco was a little bit lacking in this in comparison to the other devices that I've been using. But that's definitely something I wanted to point out with this. So that's it for the specs, pros, and cons. Now let me go ahead and talk about it a little bit. So if you've been around vaping for the last couple years, you've heard of Aspire Nautilus. That was one of the better clearamizers that came out, I don't know, what, about 2 years ago, or maybe even 3 years ago, and was wildly popular. Well, this doesn't necessarily resemble the Nautilus in any way, shape, or form, in my personal opinion. I do think it looks sleek. I do like the fact that it's not going to easily break, where the old Nautilus kind of had like the bell cap. This actually has metal, and if for some reason it does break, of course you do have the extra glass that comes with it. The airflow control on this, I would have liked to see, for a true mouth to lung, it feels like maybe there should have only been one airflow hole on here instead of the two, but I do get it. Some people want to have more of a lung hit. While this is an extremely restricted lung hit, it's still fairly enjoyable, and it will suffice for people that are just getting into vaping and are used to the draw of a cigarette. So I do think that can work, and at the same time, it does feel like it might be a little too loose, in my opinion, for a true mouth to lung vape. But overall, I don't find this device to be horrible in any way, shape, or form. It's actually been fairly enjoyable. The only big thing was that the notes don't come out the same, and that probably has something to do with their whole U-wick or U-coil technology that they're using. But otherwise, I have enjoyed this, and I do think this would be a great device for mouth to lung users as well as people that are new to vaping. Plus, it's fairly inexpensive, and it's under $30, so you really can't go wrong with that. But anyways, that's it for the review. Hopefully you guys learned something. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, but this is where we part ways. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and as always, vape on.